Now's the time to celebrate. You probably already know the good news, but if you don't, I'm about to tell you. Let's jump in. Airbnb family, score 1 for the home team. Congratulations to you all. You should all give yourselves a huge pat on the back. This wasn't the effort of any one host or a small collection of hosts. You all got loud. You all stood up for what you believed was right and true, and we finally have a response from Airbnb. So in case you missed what we're talking about, let me catch you up. Yesterday, Brian Chesky, he did a from the heart video from his home. And so let me show you either a screenshot or a short clip right now, because I think it's important to know. I'm going to give you the details and my initial thoughts here, but there's going to be much more to come. We've still got plenty to talk about, which is how do we survive as a business, even though we've got a little air support from Airbnb on this now. When Brian Chesky did his video yesterday, he outlined a few things that we've all been discussing as points. He confessed that when he first started hosting 12 years ago, that they were the first hosts, and that they took great care to know and talk to the hosts that they brought on board when they were early. And having that connection to the hosts allowed them to make the right decisions. Now, this goes deeper because, of course, they're trying to test and beta out something at scale. So they needed tons and tons of feedback from their beta host community to grow. And now, as of course, they become more confident and sure that they've got their business model figured out and the organization has ballooned and got bigger, Brian Chesky, of course, is layers and layers and layers away from hosts. And he's confessed to that having an effect on his decision-making and, of course, how they went through this. Now, Brian Chesky said that he's got 4 things that he's doing for hosts now in light of everything that's going on. And, of course, one is the US-only Congress thing, which we're not going to talk about. But I want to talk about a couple key specific ones because this is the fight that we've been having on this YouTube channel. And a lot of you hosts have been very active to share the videos from this channel, but to also speak up on your own and let other hosts know what's going on. This has gotten to the media. The media, Forbes, CNBC, The Information, people just started covering this topic. And I think the snowball effect of attention really led to giving him a compass, right? I don't think we beat him over the head into believing that we were right and he was wrong. I think the truth was kind of hidden under a couple layers of complexity. And I think your activity, your voice online, your voice everywhere has helped him to discover the truth that already existed, right? And he just needed to come home, per se. First off, thank you to the Airbnb staff who started a fundraiser. This only applies to superhosts that really embody Airbnb's oldest values, which is, opening up your home or your secondary home. You can't be a pro host to get this. We'll do a video in the future on what pro hosts are. There's actually a department at Airbnb for pro hosts, and I have a rep because I'm a pro host. So this does not apply to pro hosts. This applies to super hosts. So you do have to be a super host for more than a year, and you can't be a big business. So you with a primary home or a secondary home, if you have a listing and you've welcomed people into your home and you've made your ends meet, what he's done is he's created a grant system where you can get $5,000. This started with employees, and then Brian Chesky and his 2 buddies, I believe Nate and Joe, the guys who started with him, they also all pulled together an additional $9 million out of their own pockets. That's a real stand-up guy move. All right, so that's great. And then Airbnb, they just did a round of fundraising. They just went through and they had a pitch deck. And they're talking about how what they did for guests was going to be a key advantage in the battle next year and the years to come against, Hilton and Marriott and Expedia, everywhere else, is that people would trust Airbnb. And so their stance to stick with guests is a strategic play to save their valuation. And so when raising money, if you can be valuated at a 15% increase at their current size, arguing like a $35 or $40 billion valuation, they can make a few billion dollars just by going into a fundraising round at a higher valuation. They're worth a few billion more, which means they get diluted less. And by getting diluted less, if you own 50% of a company that has a $4 billion valuation difference, you're really retaining $2 extra billion of ownership into a business by having a higher valuation. So that is just a tangent about, their strategic move to stick by guests and not host. And then we got angry, right? We got loud. So, and on the back end of this, for all the other hosts that aren't Superhosts, but Superhosts included, they now have a $250 million pool of money. So this is separate from the $5,000 grant thing. There's been a lot of like chat on the internet, kind of like Firewire. And so this has been a little distorted by the time it actually got to me. And so this is a separate thing. These are two things. The $250 million budget is to pay hosts 25% of the value of the cancellations that were made for over like the course of this coronavirus epidemic or pandemic now. Anybody who booked before the 14th of March and anybody who's canceled, all the way through their extenuating circumstance period. I heard a rumor that they're pushing this back through May, but I haven't actually read that from Airbnb yet. Let me check. But most importantly, this will be retroactive. So all the cancellations you already had, you're going to have 25% of those extenuating circumstances, those bookings come back as payment. This is most significant to larger homes. Larger homes had bookings further in advance. The bookings were worth a bunch of money. And when a 4-bedroom house has a cancellation, the likelihood of filling it back up dwindles to almost nothing. It's like our 2-bedroom properties and 3-bedroom properties are harder to book right now than our 1-bedrooms and our studios. We've noticed that we have to drop our 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom properties to the same price that our 1-bedrooms are going for, because that price point, like we said in Dallas, $70, $75 a night, is the best that we can do regardless of size. Because groups book further in advance and groups are not traveling, so large homes got hit most. So those of you with 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom homes, like Florida especially, people who are in prime season coming into this, you getting 25% back is going to be the most substantial for you all. There's a lot of people who didn't have as many bookings and their calendar fills up more last minute. They had less coronavirus cancellations. Sure, I'm going to get demonetized for saying it. This video won't make ad revenue. Who cares? But so there's these coronavirus cancellations, and people with 1-bedrooms get less of those because there's more last minute bookings with 1-bedrooms. So what I want to say is this is going to affect certain hosts more than others, and the hosts that really need it most are the ones who couldn't activate a pricing strategy and go low enough to catch the bottom of the market. So this will kind of in a way float you guys the most, which is good. And I'm happy for you all. And I think you all should be super excited about this. In my opinion, for the smallest hosts, this isn't enough. Like I said in a video, let me show you the thumbnail and a couple comments. In this video, I said that hosts who are super small, only have a few listings, should get 50% back. And then hosts that are like my size or smaller should get 25% back. Pretty much anybody with more than 25 listings should only get 25%. Everybody smaller than that should get more. So what Brian Chesky did is he kind of I think he took the world's advice, because my advice, my call to action on my channel is just a mirror for what hosts are going through and what hosts need. So I think Brian Chesky took all this beautiful, smart advice from thousands, hundreds of thousands of hosts around the world, and he made the split strategy here where hosts will get a blanket 25%. But then those small hosts we discussed are getting the separate grant product. So in a way, he is doing something similar, and he's really responded at this point, probably financially the best way that they can, without themselves putting themselves in a terrible financial situation, thus dropping their valuation and losing them even more money from having a constriction in valuation. That's my thought process here. I may be wrong or right. Now, I do want to know your guys' thoughts. Put it in the comments. Like every single video, we were loud every single day for almost 2 weeks straight, videos every day. We were loud. And I would like you guys to keep it up. And I want to know your responses. Some of you are going to be super excited about this 25% back, that we won even just 25%. Some of you might on principle want 100%. I would like to know your thoughts in the comments. So there's tons more to talk about. We're going to cover strategy, the evolution of the game right now because of this. We're going to talk about how long we need to be bunkered down. I hope you guys caught my previous video about negotiating with landlords. It works. Save yourself 30 to 50% of your rent. It works. So go back and watch that video, link at the corner. Because if you have property and you're paying rents or a mortgage, that will help you. Because right now it's all about managing cash. To survive this game, don't run out of cash. I've said it for 2 years. Rule number 1 of business, don't run out of cash. Thanks for watching Airbnb Automated, and I'll see you on the other side.